What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Game Show Global Esports Cup. We have another best of three, in fact, three best of threes with the Radiant side. Fast, Daedalus, Gentlemans, I thought it was Gentlemen, are going to be going for three best of threes in a row. It's a grueling gauntlet, and it's going to start with CIS Rejects, probably the hardest team to match up against. So, yeah, good luck to FDG. Hopefully they can keep their stamina up. I'm Mikelorus. Going to be joined by Danny for this first game. Are you ready to do this? I hope FDG are. And I just realized that I, never actually had the call. So, she'll be here soon. But yeah, FDG really do have to make sure that they don't slip up too early and get into a bad mindset. Going in three best of threes in a row is damn difficult. Although I guess if they win 2-0 or lose 2-0, then they get a break. But I don't think that's really going to be built into their strategy. Danny, looks like we have a Bounty Hunter first pick, and we did see CIS Rejects go off with this hero earlier.
This is a hero that, oh my goodness, FDG. It's going to be a hero that they're going to have to keep an eye on. We saw CIS Rejects play a really strong bounty hunter the last time we saw them. So I'm hoping that they watched that game and are going to be aware of these rotations that Fly is going to be coming up with. Are there any heroes that you would pick in particular to counter a bounty hunter in some way, or a particular playstyle that they're going to have to resort to, such as maybe the 5-man?
Darkseer, not exactly going to be that hero, but it is a good ban pick up against CIS Reject side. Storm Spirit, Spirit Breaker, I think, are the two heroes that enable you to counter the Bounty Hunter probably the most directly. Like, he will always be looking for those tracks, and long-range initiation is the great way to punish the Bounty Hunter. Keep on killing him off, and then he's not going to get as much track gold. Winter Wyvern, Darkseer, again, not exactly those types of heroes, but hey, you could always pick up Storm Spirit later on. In fact, you should pick up Storm Spirit later on. We have a lot of defense power here for FDG.
And I like these heroes as well, because it means that they'll have a lot more sustain in the team fights just because they have a Winter Wyvern. But this might also not really force CIS Rejects into it, but they could potentially pick up something to counterplay a Winter Wyvern, because again, it's a hero that's going to negate a lot of physical damage. So this might be the chance for them to say, hey, there's a Winter Wyvern, do we just go all out for magical damage? There is a Gyrocopter in the pool, and he does a lot against a Winter Wyvern, especially with the Cold Embrace.
Plus, FDG's icon that they put into the tournament was a Gyrocopter, so take that away from them, and then they can't get a fast Daedalus. You get them on multiple ends there. Outside of that Gyrocopter pickup, countering Winter Wyvern, you could go for a Disruptor, since it's, not exactly the hardest counter, but you do need that support hero in lane, so it looks like you're going to be running a roaming Bounty Hunter. Countering the Darkseer's Surge out with the Glimpse, Winter Wyvern to a lesser extent with Static Storm. That is also another appealing way to go. If that is, on the plan, it's probably not going to be, maybe not until the third pick. But the Gyrocopter looking probably the strongest pick right now for CIS Rejects. Probably no exceptions. Maybe like a Clockwork or something for their offlane.
Clockwork would be a nice pickup as well. Then it secures their offlane up. But they go for Silencer? Well, that's interesting. Okay. I don't really think Silencer is going to be banned at any point in the game. So I'm concerned as to why they picked it up so early.
Yeah, if he is going to be banned, it's going to be a 5th ban when a team is, working with a little bit of channeling already. Or combo heroes like Darkseer, who, really just wants to land Vacuum Wall, and it's impossible to do that when you're silenced. This is most likely going to be a mid-silencer, just because they have run this a couple times in the past. A couple of high-profile CIS teams have run this in the past. Empire, I think, most notably. Works out pretty well if the enemy team is not prepared for it. And also if the silencer is not under a ton of pressure numerically. Like, if he's in a 1v1, he's happy. If it's 3v1 ever, if it's 2v1 ever, then silencer's lane gets a lot worse.
Are there any heroes that Silencer has trouble with in the mid lane? Because I very rarely see a mid-silencer at all, so for me it's a little difficult to really see anyone that's going to be a threat.
It's really just like the rotations. Like, TA has a decent matchup, like probably close to 50-50, I would say. But it's just like, as long as you avoid one hero, the Silencer going up against two, then Silencer is probably going to be happy. Like, the two really threatening heroes, Lina and Leshrac, and to a lesser extent Earthshaker, obviously you don't have to worry about them because they're all banned out. So then Silencer's lane should be, for the most part, pretty decent. Huskar, though.
Yeah, I don't see Huskar as a bad bad pick at all. And Huskar against Silencer, would you tilt this more into Huskar's favor just because he's not really worried about that magical harassment that Silencer can throw out?
Yeah, if it is going to be a mid-Huskar, that is. Silencer does have some pure damage to work with, the Glaives of Wisdom. Early on, it's free harassment. Later on, it does a lot of damage, but Huskar usually will have more damage output just with his Burning Spears. He'll be slightly outranged, but that shouldn't really matter too much. This is a rather early Huskar pick, with no Ancient Apparition banned out. Maybe this was planned to be a support Silencer, that's always a possibility, but now AA, especially with Huskar and Winter Wyvern on the field, is looking super appealing for CIS rejects.
I guess not just AA though, but any hero that has any sort of very painful right-click damage. So this Huskar pick, we'll see if it pays off. Yeah, we could look at a lot of options, but we'll get too deep in that conversation, unfortunately. So 20 seconds left on the clock for CIS Rejects' third pick. Now, you mentioned the clockwork. I would like to see them pick it up right now because it's going to give them some solid initiation. And they have the Silencer all ready to throw nukes and damage into the cogs. Or they pick up the AA. So I guess that was a higher priority to shut down the Huskar's heal.
I think the value of Ancient Apparition is just way too much to overlook. They can still jug around the Bounty Hunter and the Silencer as far as their roles are concerned. Ancient Apparition is the hero that you want up against Huskar. We see a lot of teams go for Bane nowadays. To deal with that Huskar, you get a nice 300 pure damage nuke, and just being able to Nightmare him and then walk away, also a viable way to go. So, those are the options there for CIS Rejects, but just Ice Blast versus Huskar, especially once he gets his Armlet, it makes Armlet still a worthwhile pickup for Huskar, but not super appealing. If you hit with the Ice Blast, you're going to be taking a hell of a lot of negative regen, and you just can't increase your health pool. So, yeah, it's, I think, probably just too stupidly powerful for CIS Rejects to overlook here.
But with the 3 hero picks though for CIS, they have no lockdown unless they manage to get the Cold Feet to proc. So with this in mind, does that mean that the roaming potential for FDG is going to be much stronger?
I mean, it's a Winter Wyvern support for them. It's okay amount of roaming, especially with the Huskar, but really neither side has a ton of crowd control right now. Like, there are actually no stuns. They're not going to proc Cold Feet with this draft, at least not yet.
Yeah. Shadow Fiend, though, as the 4th pickup for FDG. I only see a little bit of synergy between Shadow Fiend and Huskar, just because Huskar does some okay physical damage, but it's not amazing compared to some other heroes that you could really pair it with the Shadow Fiend to make use of the presence of the Dark Lord. 4th pickup for CIS, they go for the Wind Ranger. We saw this yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah, Iceberg has been playing all the redheads in the past couple of games. Wind Ranger is going to add that additional bit of physical damage. It's the most of her damage output mid-late game comes from physical, comes from the focus fire. And Shackle Shot maybe is actually going to enable some sort of setup for the Ancient Apparition, who, with Chilling Touch now with 3 ranged heroes, is going to have a lot of damage potential pretty much no matter where he goes. It's expected that Ancient Apparition goes towards the safe lane, but if you do find yourself roaming into another lane with a Wind Ranger or a Silencer, you'll be doing a lot of damage. And, well, there we go. Drow Ranger be banned out. Looks like FDG also recognized the mass amount of range coming out from CIS Rejects, though Huskar is pretty good versus Drow.
The laning potential for CIS Rejects is so strong. They have a Silencer that can go into lane, they have a Wind Ranger that can go into lane, both heroes that are very, very difficult to bully out of lane. So the Huskar pick, it's fine. It's going to be able to play against either of these heroes decently. Shadow Fiend, on the other hand, he's going to struggle against both. So what do you think FDG is going to be doing with the Shadow Fiend? Do you think they're going to have the Winter Wyvern babysit him just to keep throwing out the stacks? CK Ben, I wasn't expecting, but
it hurts me, though.
Oh, right. We haven't seen a CK game yet. Wait, we did. We have seen it, but it was a very long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, there's way too long ago. CK with CM sometimes, CK with IO some other times, but this wouldn't have been a good game for Chaos Knight, like, at all, but it still breaks my heart to see him being banned out. I love me some CK. Yeah, the Shadow Fiend, Huskar, most likely going to go towards the mid lane and safe lane, respectively. So FDG just looking for another support hero. And last I checked, that's not Chaos Knight, but who knows what these guys are planning. As far as support heroes go for CIS versus CIS Rejects, FDG really just would like some sort of stun, some sort of answer to the Wind Ranger. you could maybe vacuum her back. You could delay up her wind run's effectiveness with the slow from the Huskar, but just trying to deal with her, trying to get onto the silencer and blow him up before he can get the global silence off has a lot of value for FDG. Anyone with a stun is going to be able to do that, like a CK.
Are there any supports in the pool that is going to do okay during the global silence duration? Because I know a lot of supports, they just melt because they turn into living creeps. They just walk around, they cannot do anything, they are muted.
Like
Witch Doctor is the last pick. The synergy between Witch Doctor and Shadow Fiend, you can't ignore it. It's so good just to have presence of the Dark Lord as well as the Death Ward really doing work. So it's not a bad pick. I'm not going to say anything about it. It's just... it's not a reliable stun, unfortunately. It's not like a Rubik Lift or a Hex from a Lion, but hopefully they can make it work out.
How awesome would an Ogre Magi have been last pick for FDG? Right?
Aww.
You get Bloodlust, you get the stun, point click, really soft heroes on the enemy side.
We could see CIS rejects. Oh, they go for Nature's Prophet. Well, I'm fine with this. We saw Nature's Prophet yesterday. I'm happy to see it again.
Yeah, last time it was in a drastically different environment. It was a 13-minute GG type environment. This isn't exactly that direct. It is certainly very powerful still, CIS rejects, but not as aggressively slanted towards ending the game super early. But either way, Nature's Prophet is going to somewhat turn on this semi-global strategy, or at least a very high-range strategy here from the CIS reject side.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. They have so many global effects or global presence, so this is going to be a very fun game. I think the only issue for us casters is we have to make sure that we're watching the right part of the map at the right time, because things are going to happen and we might not notice some of them.
The problem is that they're going to be happening all at the same time, also, like,
exactly.
for the most part, so it's like, well, you can only have one camera, and you can only catch one thing at a time, but either way, Nature's Prophet here for CIS rejects. Outside of that, I mean, it's a okay offlane hero. Goretz managed it pretty well last time we saw him. Versus the Huskar, first of all, Nature's Prophet will typically tend to struggle. Maybe you could TP out, but that's where the cast from the Witch Doctor comes in play. That's really the only tool. I guess Vacuum as well, but the only tool to interrupt the Nature's Prophet TP. Seems like CIS rejects just want to play this game and end it, or at least get a decisive lead early on as fast as they possibly can.
But yeah, as you mentioned though, cancelling the TP for the Nature's Prophet, will they want to use a stun on him though if there's like a 5-on-5 engagement? That could be something that you could use to kill someone else rather than just going for a mere Nature's Prophet.
I have no idea what's going on in this chat, but let's go over who's going to be playing what for both sides while they're both kind of calmly sitting around. Looks like there's going to be no early aggression. We got Goretz playing the offlane Nature's Prophet. Iceberg is going to be handling the Wind Ranger. Artis is on the Silencer. Ancient Apparition played by Vankscore. This helmet looks like something from Vengeful Spirit. And Always Want to Fly is going to be handling the Roaming Bounty.
So up towards the top, we have Droid, who's going to be playing on our Darkseer. Towards the bottom, we've got 4 heroes. We've got Lodine on the Winter Wyvern, Churston on the Huskar. I have no idea what the Witch Doctor's name is, so he'll just be Witch Doctor. And finally, we've got Zara playing on the Shadow Fiend.
Oh, they're actually going to see Always Want to Fly. Gets a little bit too close, blows his invis, and then gets dusted and brought down. Oh, Sentry actually was dropped there by the FDG side. Good read. They're going to kill off Always Want to Fly. First blood drawn by, well, unfortunately not the Shadow Fiend. It's going to be the Huskar, but hey, I'm pretty sure it's going to be fine for FDG regardless of that fact. Sentry was dropped to get the kill, but this is only going to mean that there's one Sentry left for the mid lane, which is probably going to be enough, but we see already CIS Rejects placing a pretty deep Observer Ward to try to get a little bit more pressure on the Shadow Fiend, and the Sentry is not going to spot that.
It would have been awesome if Lodine put it a little bit more towards that Observer Ward and got rid of it. That would have been such a nice, well, such a great pick with just getting, for putting the Sentry down. So that would have been nice, but it doesn't happen. It will still spot incoming ganks by the Bounty Hunter onto Zara, so that is something to keep in mind. And I like how they're going to keep Lodine here in the Winter Wyvern just to make sure that the Shadow Fiend is safe, stack the jungle for him, and hope that they manage to get him up and running fast enough so that he's going to be a relevant threat much sooner than it could be if CIS just harasses him to death. I love the Treants just harassing Churston on the Huskar down here. Good stuff by the Nature's Prophet. The Treants are just creating space for him.
Yeah, use the treants to either last hit or make sure that your main hero has a save time while last hitting. And this is a lane, just Huskar versus Nature's Prophet, that Huskar's going to get poked at just a little bit. He has slightly less range, 600 versus 400 in favor of Nature's Prophet. So yeah, he will get poked at sometimes, but if he can get close enough for a couple of Burning Spears, then things for Nature's Prophet get really bad really quickly. He needs to use these treants, manage them well to buy himself that space last hit. Over towards mid lane, Zara's going to get into a man fight with Iceberg. He dodges one raise. Now here comes the Bounty Hunter from the north. Power Shot going to connect, and Zara just needs one more shot to die, but he will salve up and will survive. Sentry Ward going to be deployed by Always Want to Fly, but he's going to stick around too long for the raise. He did not see where the Sentry Ward was, and that's going to be Shadow Fiend getting a free kill. Always Want to Fly, so close yet so far.
That is a huge win for the Shadow Fiend. So he's up to 15 souls. He's capped out. So that means that he's going to be throwing a huge amount of damage at the Wind Ranger. And does this all of a sudden turn the Wind Ranger versus Shadow Fiend matchup on its head?
Yeah, I mean, usually it's going to be kind of even, slight Wind Ranger, although Shadow Fiend's explosiveness is something you have to worry about. This is now a Shadow Fiend lane. Like, he has 90 damage a pop. Wind Ranger's damage is still pretty high, but not nearly high enough. Always Want to Fly. He's still sticking around this mid lane, but it's going to prove to be his undoing. One raise to land, second raise, no mana, but he's dusted. He has no escape unless the neutrals are going to kill him off. It looks like they will. So I guess that's not too bad, but still this Bounty Hunter has level 1 with barely any experience gain, 3 deaths now. He's not going to have a super influential early game. Not a fast track either.
This is probably the best thing that FDG could get, considering this Bounty Hunter hasn't done so well. So they're going to be praying to their lucky stars that Bounty stays down like this, and they won't have to worry about track for much longer than they would if he got a decent level 6. Droid in the top lane, he's doing okay. He's got some okay CS, only 4, but he's getting levels, and he's only up against a Ancient Apparition for harassment. Oh, he actually does look like Vengeful Spirit with that helmet. That is
weird.
Creepy. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they have no relation to one another, so I don't know how that comes in. I don't actually think I've seen this before. They're going to try to go again for Zara, at least Always Want to Fly, going to poke at him a little bit, but it's only level 1 Bounty Hunter. You really need Janata if you're going to do this. He's going to see again the Sentry, and he will eat the enemy's Sentry with the Tango before Shadow Fiend can destroy the Dire Sentry. But yeah, now the Bounty Hunter can, again, rotate easier into the mid lane, but still, like, to what end? What's going really well for CIS Rejects is the fact that they're just outright winning their lanes through sheer CS. Like, Goretz has just as much as the enemy laner, and he's in the off lane. So Nature's Prophet is winning his lane right now. Mid lane, though a couple kills went to the Shadow Fiend, Wind Ranger's also vastly outlast hitting him, and top lane, Silencer is, steaming ahead of that Darkseer very easily. So CIS Rejects getting the CS, and that's something we did see previous. They're going to actually wind run. No, actually, that's haste. Going towards Zara. Shackle Shot going to be thrown, not latching. They're going to run out of that magic damage. Power Shot going to miss, and Iceberg. He's going to get hit with one raise. Going to get, well, dodge a second one, but here comes Always Want to Fly from the back. He still does not have Janata, so he's going to go into the hole with Zara. One raise going to catch. He's taking tower shots. Power Shot will get the kill on the Shadow Fiend from the Wind Ranger, but the Shadow Fiend gets the kill before he dies. Now level 5.
That is a massive commitment for CIS Rejects to kill off the Shadow Fiend, but was it worth it? They lost the Bounty Hunter in the process. They had to bring in an Ancient Apparition. Do you feel like it was equalized considering the effort that CIS Rejects had to put into that kill?
I mean, Shadow Fiend's worth so much that it's probably going to be worth it. But still, I mean, you really need this Bounty Hunter to survive to get experience. If he was alive there to get experience from that kill, then he would probably be level 2 right now. And he would have Janata, and that difference is night and day. Just having a minor amount of slow is something that the Bounty Hunter really does need. I mean, he has a very minor amount with Orb of Venom, but he needs a little bit more. He's still sticking around this mid lane, poked around towards bottom, but you know what, CS Rejects, as long as they're keeping ahead in the CS department, they're going to be feeling pretty good about themselves, and they actually might steal a little bit of experience Bounty Hunter from the stack of Zara and Lodine.
He's going to hit level 2 off of the Centaur, so that's going to be a big win for Fly. He was at a pretty good position at a decent timing, so he hits level 2 now, and we may potentially see a gank very soon, but he's going to be very careful. There's a Winter Wyvern here, he could give his life away, but if they can get the Shadow Fiend and lose himself in the process, it'll have to be worth it. It's the Shadow Fiend that you're shutting down. But he's thinking very much against it.
You gotta remember that something that also can be done from CIS Rejects is bringing in the Nature's Prophet. He hasn't left yet because he's getting so much in the lane. But if they are going to go for that dive, then having Treants, having another hero's worth of DPS there, and this is a hero with phase boots, mind you, is something that FDG may just not expect. Like, so far, they haven't had to worry about this Nature's Prophet. At least not on a global scale, because he's just dominating bottom lane, but sooner or later, Nature's Prophet is going to kick into gear in that department. Speaking of, he has level 6, so Wrath of Nature, an extra nuke for CIS Rejects. Up towards top, though, Banks were in a little bit of trouble, getting chased down by Droid. Actually going to decide not to dive the tower there.
Why should he, though? There is a chance that he could have died and not even killed Vanscore. I like that he's playing safer rather than just trying to go for those really balls-deep, risky plays. Because he's doing okay in the offlane. He's almost level 6. So considering what he's getting, if you can survive... Oh, actually he's going to get Vanscore anyway. Oh no, he can't actually catch him. He's a little bit too slow. He's going to go for the surge, and he does kill Vanscore. And can he get out of there in time, though? And Artez is going to be there with the last word. Now, Droid, he's pretty tanky. He's going to have the Witch Doctor coming in with the cast, but there's no detection, so I don't know where Fly is. So that's me one blade. And Droid, one hit. That's not quite enough. He's actually still alive. Although, in the meantime, the Witch Doctor's taking quite a bit of a beating himself, but he'll be fine.
Droid is going to hang around mid lane. Here comes the sniper, Iceberg. Oh, come on, man. You got to go for that. You have a regen rune. He's not going to, but Darkseer narrowly going to escape. Nature's Prophet, unfortunately, used his TP to get back to the base. And he's going for lots of treants, so only level 6. You can't be everywhere all the time as Nature's Prophet just yet. Wrath of Nature, though nice, just definitely not enough. 4-1 now for FDG, and that's pretty nice. It should be a slight lead. No, it's actually still not. The CS advantage of CIS Rejects is still giving them a slight, probably unnoticeable gold lead, but and they're 3 kills down, yet they're still ahead.
That's alright, considering the kind of position that they're in. Would you consider the Darkseer moving into the jungle at some point, or would you just reserve that jungle completely for the Shadow Fiend? Because Droid's doing okay. Do you feel like he needs that extra boost in gold right now?
No, I feel like Droid is doing well enough to stick up in this top lane. If he is going to jungle, then that's going to take a little bit of extra space away from Zara, who, I mean, he's also doing fine right now, has the most last hits in the game, but he could use the extra acceleration a lot better than the Darkseer can. They're going to try to go towards top lane. It seems like Droid might get dove right now. Shackle is definitely going to land here, and Droid is going to take a beating from the Chilling Touch. Global Silence is going to be deployed. Artie's grabbed some int, and now the Witch Doctor is going to try to go for Artie's. These Winter Wyvern's going to arrive as well. Gets the kill into the Silencer, but may die herself. She will to the power shot. That's a 3-for-1 up in this top lane. 2 stacks of int for the Silencer, and he does grab his Hand of Midas right before he dies. That's a pretty nice dive for CIS Rejects. It was supposed to be a 4v1, and that would have been probably fine for FDG to lose, but instead making it a 4 versus 3 in a 3-man sweep. And now Shackle landing onto Zara. Always Want to Fly is here as well. However, the Raze is instantly going to kill him off. Trading the Bounty Hunter for Zara, though, still a great trade for CIS Rejects, especially since Iceberg got the kill.
But still, though, you never want to lose a hero if you try and go for a gank. So Fly, he's dying quite a bit, but it's for a good cause. It's helping their team just propel forward with more and more farm. And they're slowly getting ahead of FDG. Although, if you look at the CS, the Shadow Fiend CS is quite absurd, and the Huskar is catching up. So there is a small glimmer of hope for FDG in coming back. I wonder if this Huskar is going to be what turns the game around for them. Because, yeah, CIS Rejects do have quite a bit of physical damage, but they're all still very squishy heroes. Don't count that out.
Yeah, Huskar is working with a lot of power right now. Ancient Apparition not quite at that level 6 mark yet. If he was, then I'm pretty sure CIS Rejects wouldn't really be too scared about this Huskar, but yeah, he's working with his armlet. Doesn't have boots yet, but still, if he jumps onto anyone, they're going to be very close to dying. Droid actually up towards top, gets caught in the Sprout. He doesn't have a vacuum, but Vangscore a little bit too far away for that extra bit of damage. Looks like he will just slip away. Yeah, for CIS Rejects, they just want to get a couple more levels up. Like, Nature Prophet needs a couple more teleport levels. They need the level 6 in the Ancient Apparition really badly. And of course, Bounty Hunter would love his level 6 as well. Gorath's Sprout, that was nowhere close to landing.
Everyone has their moments. You're just kind of like, I'm just going to throw your Sprout here.
Always Want to Fly in bottom lane, gets caught with the dust. Puff of Smoke is visible. Now here comes the Huskar. This is a super dead bounty. He was hidden there, but I think just the Puff of Smoke. You can see the particles sometimes a little more than you should, and ended up getting dropped. This Winter Wyvern has had the Bounty Hunter's number up towards top. Droid getting nuked down almost from like half to zero, but it's also at the same time Witch Doctor who got hit with that same ultimate. Iceberg is going to hit with the curse, but he's fine to turn around because he has the wind run. He has no backup coming in with the power shot. That's going to miss. Now Iceberg's got to bail. Bounty Hunter is coming in, but Lodine should be okay. Unless another power shot is going to land. It's up in 1 second. Always Want to Fly, giving him some spotting vision. Power shot through will connect, and Iceberg is going to get the kill. sharpshooting master right here, and Wind Ranger now grabs her Blink Dagger. Big plays from Iceberg.
God, this guy loves that Wind Ranger. You just see him play, and he is so confident when he plays that hero. He just knows the limits of Wind Ranger. So, having the Blink Dagger now, all of a sudden, that is initiating power for CIS rejects. And oh my god, the jump from Tursten onto 111. 111 literally just TP'd into lane, and all of a sudden he has to be sent back. Although there's the last word onto the Huskar. Gonna try and get a kill on Vanscore. He dies first, but Vanscore is soon to follow. Absolutely not worth it on the Huskar.
You got the Nature's Prophet in the base.
Do you get EXP for a kill if you're too far away from it though?
He only got 1 kill's worth of EXP, so yeah.
I presume
there's
so.
some skills that like activate with it, but I don't know. They keep on changing it.
Either way, if I'm not mistaken, I think Winter's Curse counts. I think Zeus definitely counts.
Yeah.
His ultimate definitely counts.
But you know, either way, it's Huskar for 2, which is a pretty good exchange there. Arties does get the kill and a little bit of intelligence from that, but you know, Huskar with no intelligence, he doesn't care. They're gonna smoke into the Roche pit right now. Goretz has rushed his medallion, has quite a lot of base damage as well, just with two nulls and phase boots. In fact, we have 2 phase boots here. This Roshan is pretty sneaky, but it seemed like FDG have a pretty good read that this is going on, even though they did not see a damn thing. Oh, they're gonna have to go in right now. They don't have any great vision right now. They're gonna put a sentry down. And they're not going to go in. Roshan is going to be claimed. Oh, there it is. Global silence now as Witch Doctor's in the front lines. He should not be there. They're going to take a lot of damage after the Witch Doctor, and they're also going to get Tursten with the Sprout, but he's going to dive right out of there. Requiem is there, and Goretz is just going to bail out. Iceberg and Arties running together. Splinter Blast going to slow down Iceberg a little bit more. She's looking for her blink out, but she can't quite get it in time. I don't think Burning Spear applied, but she's going to get a shackle, and then just keep on running. She's actually going to survive. I can't believe no one died there from CIS rejects. The Wind Ranger is going to be able to get back to base. It was very, very close. It cost them the global silence, but they get into the Roche pit and get out without a hitch.
They got the Aegis as well too, so that's a massive win. Although I think Iceberg may have stayed a little bit too soon. No, the coconut still goes through, but no one's going to commit for FDG. They really want this tower, so they're going to go full on 5-man to take this down. But it could be an exact same trade because you have CIS rejects in the top lane going for a 3-man push on this tower. Now there is one hero to reinforce. It's just Login though. Now, he should be able to slow this down. There is going to be another TP now. It's the Darkseer, and this is going to prevent CIS rejects from getting their own counter tower. Or the vacuum was close to getting Fly.
Yeah, that was a good movement from Always Wanna Fly, just going into the empty tree area, and it's kind of risky. You sometimes will just die there anyway because the Darkseer guesses correctly, but this time he lives, and he's going to stick around to try to get some tracks up. Kind of risky playing with his own life like that, but the upside of getting track vision is definitely there, and now Ancient Apparition actually does have his ultimate. This is the really weird looking one. I guess that's what the helmet gives him. But CIS rejects get the Aegis. With no global silence, they're not going to be super inclined to fight, but man, they have the Blink Dagger. They have all their ultimate tools back up, or now up, especially Vangscore and Always Wanna Fly, so they can snipe people pretty easily. Speaking of, we got a snipe, most likely heading towards mid. Blink forward, Shackle with the Ancient Apparition's Blast coming in. Huskar in a lot of trouble, can't even put up his armlet right now. The Wrath of Nature is going to kill him off, and now Zara, he's going to show his face with the mech, but unfortunately got there a little bit too late, and well, there's the chilling effect anyway. Mech doesn't do anything. Another Shackle to land onto Zara. Power shot, point blank. Iceberg taking a lot of damage though, may lose the Aegis, but that's fine. He has a blink out probably when he responds. It's going to be a little bit close. He will wind run, and it looks like he will have a blink out straight after. So trading the Aegis for the Huskar after all said and done, still, that's pretty good for CIS rejects.
That's definitely worth it. And considering how early the game is, there's no chance of them ever going for a high ground push because, lo and behold, there's still all 3 T1 towers up for FDG. So just getting a kill with it and then also translating it into a T1 tower is the best thing that they could have hoped for. TP down bottom, Nature's Prophet, you cannot have that tower. There's Tursten, although in the mid lane, no one to contest it, that's giving it away. Although there's a beautiful blink forward there onto Zara, they throw the track, they get went for the Shackle. There is going to be the ultimate from the Shadow Fiend to just slow this down, but he looks like he's going to survive with the mechanism. Nature's Prophet in the backline, TP'd in, there's the heal onto Zara. He's still alive for that little bit longer, but he's definitely going to go down. Beautiful vacuum into the wall by Droid, but those heroes are still alive, Artez and Iceberg. He's not going to be that easy to take down. Artez still running away, and looks like he might be home for free, whereas Iceberg in the meantime gets taken down by the Huskars, jumps on, and 1-1-1, the Nature's Prophet just casually walking by the entire team, and he gets out, it seems.
2 for 1, even with tracks, gold is in favor of FDG in that engagement. There was track on with Wyvern with Wrath of Nature up, which probably wouldn't have done that damage anyway, but the Ice Blast from Ancient Apparition came a little bit too late to actually make that a good, solid, get in and get out play. If they were able to kill off the Shadow Fiend, or at least tag him with the ice effect before he was able to pop the mech, then CIS Rejects, I'm sure, get away with a lot more heroes there. But unfortunately, the timings just weren't going to line up. They do hold their Global Silence for that one as well, which maybe a little bit too cautious, I think, from RTs. Maybe it just came up online, but either way, CIS Rejects still, it's an okay trade for them. It's not absolutely terrible, and they still hold an experience and gold lead with the momentum, and they have momentum heroes, especially the Silencer's gone for a Shadow Blade, far from the standard build. But if you're going to play this aggressive game style, if you're going to go for these picks 24/7, yeah, the Shadow Blade is kind of what you want. The problem is, he's also with the Bounty Hunter on his team, so FDG already are going to be packing protection, as they have been.
But it's surprising. Is this just supposed to be for the Silver's Edge to cancel out the Huskar's passive? Because I don't really see any other reason behind buying a Shadow Fiend. I guess you could just get the Shadow Blade and get into position with the Bounty Hunter and go for those quick kills. I guess that's another reason to go for it too, so a little bit of everything with the Shadow Blade.
Blink Dagger on Nature's Prophet, also for the same reason. Like, he could split push pretty well with this item, but when you have Blink Daggers on Wind Ranger and Nature's Prophet, and you have two heroes with Invis, it's going to be a lot harder for FDG to get themselves in a good position for the fight. That means Darkseer is going to struggle a lot more to land a vacuum wall, at least, on multiple heroes. Top lane is going to be brute force down by FDG. However, CS Rejects teleporting their bounty in has got to be careful. Luckily for him, there's no detection in the area. He does get dusted in the end, however. Arctic Burn going to slow him down with the track movement speed. He may be able to get out of here yet, and looks like he will. Dust wasted. As the tower is first to fall for the Dire side. Always want to fly, just wants a couple more tracks out. Here comes Ice Blast from the north. Iceberg going to jump right in. Shackle onto Lodin and Turson both. He's almost going to be able to kill off the Winter Wyvern. Does get the kill in the end. And in the meantime, it's just Bankscore distracting everyone else by playing the bait Vic jump towards top. He's even going to TP out of there. I don't believe that. Iceberg still is going to be A-okay to blink out from the Huskar, who has yet to really commit to a dive. But so far, it's tower for tower. One kill for CS Rejects. That was, I believe, a track kill. And it looks like that should just about be it, although everyone is still tracked, and Bounty Hunter is still in the area looking for more tracks. Shackle from long range, gonna interrupt the TP of Witch Doctor. Now he's pretty much completely screwed, because RT is also coming around from the south. Gonna give it a little bit more in towards that Silencer. They get the Sprout onto Zara. He pops the Requiem, which will reduce the damage somewhat, but now he's gonna get hit with the last word. He has Lodin coming in. Shackle not gonna connect properly, but still, Artie's just firing away. They have the track on Lodin. He's going to stick up. He's going to embrace himself, but the brute force is there, and Silencer's going to get yet another kill. Double for Artie's. 2 stacks of int for him, and the tower trade was even, so big trade there for CIS Rejects, and they might even get another tower.
They're definitely going to get it. There's just not enough by FDG to defend this at all. So that what was supposed to be a quick assassin mission by CIS Rejects just turns into a bloodbath. They get kill after kill. FDG, they're just frantic. The constant blinkings and the mobility on CIS Rejects is really hurting FDG. FDG just, they cannot be everywhere at any point. They just don't have the mobility. Do they even have any sort of mobility on their heroes? I only see Surge being one of them. I guess you could count Arctic Burn, but they're just being literally ran around by CIS, and they can't do anything about it.
Sometimes you're going to see a downside because even though FDG do lack their mobility, they have just like a whole siege engine thing going on with the Huskar. Oh, Lodin going to find Bankscore. Looks like he's going to get away. With the sustain from the Witch Doctor's heal, the Winter Wyvern, they got the mech, they have Huskar. They could just, in certain situations, just group up as 5 and then bulldoze down a lane. But CIS Rejects are approaching these fights very piecemeal. They're kind of picking FDG apart so that instead of a 5v5, it's a couple of 1v1s or a whole bunch of 1v1s, and that is definitely what CIS Rejects want. When you go for so many invisible items and blink daggers, you want to take small-scale engagements, not the full-on fights. And now we do have a Silver Edge actually completed by the Silencer. This is an incredible amount of farm from RTs, although getting so many kills definitely does help. The Huskar is not going to be happy to see this one. RT's on the hunt right now. Invis has track movement speed, tracking down Zara. Also does see the Huskar, but it looks like that's not going to work. It's going to be Zara who's going to be targeted down. The Silencer's damage output is insane right now. Even with the mech, Zara can only get a raise off. No, he actually can't even do that before he dies.
I had a feeling he may have been able to get out of there if he just kept running and popped the mech. I'm not too sure, but turning around, there is a nice shackle. Oh my god, actually that's a beautiful combo by the Nature's Prophet and Wind Ranger. I love it when you do stuff like that. Just go for the Sprout, go for shackle, and they can't do anything.
And pretty much And that was the Witch Doctor, the weakest target, but anyone is going to die if they get hit by that, especially if it's the Huskar, who also may get hit with an Ice Blast. Not going to be launched just yet by Bankscore, just a track for right now, but man, look at this positioning from CIS Rejects. They're going to go behind the tier 2. They want this Huskar dead, and with the Silver Edge, it's actually really easy to do so. Here comes the Ice Blast, kind of small, but will land anyway. At least we'll land the Chilling Effect. Now Turson is just completely screwed. Just a couple right clicks. There he goes. Silver Edge, the Break Effect doing its job there. Although, honestly, just the pure damage from Silencer at this point is good enough. This tower is now going to fall on FDG. They're very quickly losing all semblance of map control, and their ability to ball up as 5 and still go down a lane, yeah, it's still kind of there, but they won't find a good opportunity to do it because they're going to be split pushed at this point.
And it's also going to be due to, oh my goodness,
Zara.
beautiful Shackle onto Zara, and again, he just wants to farm, but CIS Rejects is not giving him that opportunity at all. So again, hook, line, and sinker taken down. Sprout, again, this is on the Witch Doctor, so the second time he's gonna die. They didn't even have to really do anything, they just poked him a couple of times and he's dead. Nate just proper blinking into the base to try and go on the Winter Wyvern. They're so ballsy, but they're gonna be able to get it. There's a wall to be thrown out by Droid and the Vacuum. They get one counter kill, 1-1-1. They're still running away. Would Droid better get him? No, there's the blink out, so that's gonna be any chance of him getting any more kills pretty much gone.
Bankscore disconnects, and still they're just pushing bottom lane with Bankscore. Droid's gonna glimmer in with the Ion Shell, do a little bit of damage. Run AFK Bankscore, run. Artie's gonna run to Turson right now. The Huskar's gonna try to race him. Artie's actually gonna die pretty quickly. Shackle coming in, saving Artie's for a little while longer. It's gonna be a 1-for-1 trade. Iceberg gonna grab the kill, then Zoidberg on out of there. Needs a Blink Dagger in 3 seconds. Droid, I don't think has a cancellation here. No, it's gonna jump right in front of the Wind Ranger. Ion Shell ticking. Not fast enough. I think there's going to be another Ion Shell. He's going to try to Glimmer Vacuum, but with the Wind Run and the Blink out, Wind Ranger should be A-okay, and she will get out of there. No structural damage, or at least no permanent structural damage here from the CIS Reject side, but still they lose 2 heroes. They gain so many more.
That was, could I say that was close to the Olympic 1,500 meters by the Wind Ranger and Darkseer? They're just heroes that can move at max movement speed because of those skills. It was so interesting. And both supports, well, they used to be supports there, but unfortunately they're going to be taken down. Oh, actually there's going to be a cast as well as the Witch Doctor Death Ward, but unfortunately it doesn't actually kill anybody, so they both die. They delay it by a tiny bit, but there's going to be no Death Ward for the next fight, so interesting decision to throw that up. They're probably assuming that it'll be off cooldown by the next team fight. Or maybe he's just given up all hope on using it because there's a silencer.
Yeah, and silencers at this point like can global silence and cancel the Death Ward, or can just like hit the Witch Doctor 4 times and kill him. Like that's also something that can be done. They're gonna slide into the Roche Pit, grab that one in a very small amount of time. And there's nothing that FDG can do about this. So next time they fight, they're going to be going up against most likely a double life silencer. And Artees is hitting very hard at this point. Got Vlad's up on Bankscore, not even going to go for the Aghanim Scepter. That's the item that you go for if you expect the game to go to 40 minutes. And CIS Rejects are going to build so that just doesn't happen. Next objectives should be the tier 2s. Like going for the tier 3s is certainly nice, but hey, free bags of gold are there. You want to get those additional items. Nature Prophet has grabbed his Orchid. Silencer has 2,000 gold. Wind Ranger has 3,000 gold. I don't think they're going to go all in and try to go like Necrobook style, but like a Desolator for the Wind Ranger actually seems like it's pretty high value.
I actually would love to see a Desolator on the Wind Ranger too. Do you think Artez is going to just go straight for that Refresh Orb on the Silencer so that he has the double ult? So that FDG is not going to be able to do anything for twice the duration, aka 12 seconds at level 16?
Yeah, but are you really scared of those spells? Like, I feel like Artie's, like, with his build especially, just wants to be hitting things. So, he wants to go for, like, a really damage-heavy type build. Ethereal Blade? Like, that would actually be pretty legit right now to try to minimize the impacts of a Huskar, at least in those man fights. Yeah, I don't know. Artees is going to be hitting pretty hard pretty much no matter what he goes for. Even though Refresh Orb doesn't actually give you any damage, he's still hitting so much without it. They're just going to go for the Raxes down towards bottom. Splinter Blast not doing nearly enough, though it is level 4. Tower to fall for free. And someone's got to get on top of Artees right now. TV coming from the back lines. It's the Huskar, but loading's immediately going to get dropped without any hesitation. Global Silence is there. Vacuum Wall has been used, but it's going to be just the Huskar jumping to the back lines. He has BKB, but he's not going to last long enough. Artees going to work him down. Now they're going to dive into the base. At least Artees will. Death Ward will be channeled, but canceled immediately by the Witch Doctor, and Artees will also grab the kill on the Shadow Fiend. Buyback from Bankscore. And it looks like this bottom set of Raxes will be conceded Droid and maybe Shadow Fiend to defend if he wants to buy back. But if he does buy back, that's pretty much FDG conceding the game. They're going to Fountain Farm. Iceberg's going to jump into the Fountain, and they're going to kill off the Darkseer. 25 minutes in his own Fountain. Feels bad, man.
It does. FDG, they're just so crippled, and yeah, they know it's just too horrible, too difficult to come back into the game, and they're going to call it GG. So CIS rejects,
another
and that's not
kill.
Quite over. Just one more.
One for the road.
But CIS though, they're so dominant. I think we've casted all of their games together, and they've just been so strong. We only saw one game yesterday where they seemed like they were having some issues in the early game, but then they came back during the tail end of the game, just off the back of some really good team plays and positioning stuff by the rest of their team. So
they did drop a game
FDG.
versus Walrus Punch yesterday. That's Screen's team.
Did they?
Yeah, that was.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, but still, CS Rejects. You would expect them to be the strongest team here, and so far they have not disappointed. Currently, they're just on top right now with 4 games played now. I mean, they haven't won the set, but we'll get there soon. We'll see if they can actually close it, and then in which case, if they do, it'll be 4 wins, 0 losses, win range of double crit ending, the Silver Edge and the Silencer, good stuff. Guys, I'm Mikelorus. I'm joined by Daneliecasts. It seems like we may have a different shift of casters for the next game, but follow us on Twitter regardless, at Mikelorus, at Daneliecasts, and then we'll be right back for the next game, CIS Rejects versus FDG, Game 2 coming soon.